Okay, to prepare yung ating mga gagawin, our materials include yung templates that we have created at saka pinasabit namin sa inyo. Properly labeled na siya dapat. And then, for the straight rulers, first, yung regular lang na ruler natin, or kung wala kayong regular na ruler, but you have the T-square, pwede nyo rin naman siyang gamitin. Another item that we need, yung ating protractor. So this is what we call a protractor. Oh, nakabaliktad siya. So this is a protractor. Ito yung ginagamit natin para sa mga that items that require angles. Pero since isometric drawing yung gagawin natin, kung wala kang protractor but you have this triangle, yung triangle natin na may maliit na sharp corner compared dun sa other, meron din kasi tayo nung other triangle na parehas sila ng corner. That's the 45-45. This one is a 30-60-90 triangle. Yung 30 degrees nandito siya sa may mas maliit na corner. So, yung mas acute. Okay? Gagamitin natin yan mamaya. For your orthographic, gagawa tayo ngayon nung ating tinatawag na isometric grid. Okay, para magawa yan, kailangan lang natin ng ruler for now. And then, ilalapat natin yung ruler natin doon sa topmost lines ng ating boxes. Yung ating 4x4 na boxes. Kailangan mapag-align natin yan para makakreate tayo ng horizontal line. So, to ensure, maglagay tayo ng point doon sa one corner and then another dito. Yan. And then, gawa tayo ng horizontal line. Yan. Once you have created the horizontal line, measure tayo ng 1 cm, 1 cm or 10 mm from the right top corner ng ating 4x4 na box. So, lapat lang natin yung tick mark of our ruler. This is the tick mark, di ba? And then, measure tayo ng 10 mm or 1 cm. So, 90 to 100 is 1 cm. Lagay tayo dito ng tick mark. Medyo diinan ninyo kasi ito yung magiging reference point natin. From here on, we will be using yung ating protractor. Yung protractor ninyo or yung 30-60-90. So, pwede natin siyang gamitin both. Unahin natin gamitin yung protractor. In your protractor kasi, meron siyang intersection between the vertical line at saka yung horizontal line. From that intersection, magkakaroon tayo ng point. Ang tawag natin dyan, we can call it the origin. Itong point na to ang itatama natin doon sa point na nasa horizontal line na ating ginawa. Yan. So, nakatapat na siya. Pag nakatapat na yung point mo, itapat mo rin yung horizontal line ng protractor sa horizontal line na create mo. And once that is done, naka-prepare na rin yung paggamit natin ng measurements. In this case, ayan. So, block tayo magbibilang kung nasa right side. So, 0, 10, 20, 30. We need 30 degrees. So, sundan natin yung tick mark until dito. And then, maglagay tayo ng maliit na point. Huwag nyo masyadong diinan. Basta, ang mahalaga, nakikita nyo siya. Then, red naman dito sa may left side. 0, 10, 20, 30. Yun. So, meron na tayong markings. Instead of protractor, kung ang meron kayo ay yung 30-60-90 triangle, pwede rin naman yun yung gamitin ninyo. Pero medyo mas challenging lang siya. Ang gagawin nyo lang, yung ruler ninyo, ilalapat ninyo sa any horizontal line or anything na parallel dun sa ginawa ninyo. So, gagamitin ko yung mga mas mababang horizontal lines. Tapos, yung 30-60-90 ko, ito, Yung mas maliit ang babasahin ninyo, yung mas maliit. Yan. So, i-slide lang natin siya. Yan, nag-slide siya. Tingnan natin kung tatama ba siya. I-slide natin to, itatapat natin dun sa may unang point natin, yung point of origin kanina dun sa ating protractor. O, lalagay ko dito ha. Let's say, nag-slide ako doon, tumama siya. So, tama pa rin kung 30-60-90 triangle ang gagamitin ko. The same to be done, baliktarin mo lang. Ganyan naman siya ngayon. Pwedeng ganyan, pwede rin na ganyan. Same pa rin naman ang kalalabasan. I-slide mo lang, papunta doon sa may point of origin natin. Gumalaw yung aking horizontal. Make sure na nakapik siya. Yan. And then, slide. Tumama pa rin naman. Okay? Pag meron na tayo ng mga diagonals natin, kukonect mo lang naman kasi yung dalawang points kanina towards the origin. Gagawin natin, magme-measure tayo ng tigpo 4 cm. So, try natin i-connect tong point na to. Magsisimula ako sa 100 para mas madali mag-compute. So, 100, babawasan mo ng 40 mm. Ano mangyayari sa kanya? Aabot ka ng 60. So, ang kailangan lang natin is until 60. So, 10, 20, 30, 40. So, kailangan natin na maglagay ng tick marks. Gawin natin dun sa kabila naman. 40 again. Tatapat natin yung tick mark ng 100 towards our origin. I-align natin yung ruler natin dun sa diagonal line. And then we will measure 4 cm. At magli-leave tayo ng tick marks at every 10 mm. Until, yan, 60. Okay na? So, meron tayong 4 cm dito. 4 cm din dun sa right side. After the diagonals, ang susunod sa diagonals would be yung ating vertical. Since gagawa na tayo ng vertical, ang pwede natin gamitin na basis would be yung horizontal natin kanina. O, tinatapat ko yung 170 ko dito to make sure or as a check kung tama pa yung ginagawa ninyo. Dapat yung distance from your horizontal going to your 4 cm na point, yung pang-apat na point galing sa origin, 2 cm dapat ang maging measurement niya. Kung mas malaki yon or mas maliit, ibig sabihin meron kang discrepancy doon sa na-measure mo na angle. In this case, kung titingnan naman, naka-align naman to sa horizontal and almost 2 naman, okay pa yan. So, mag-measure tayo ng 4 cm pataas. Lagay ako ng very thin line. And then, tick marks na 4. 1 cm apart. Ulitin ko yun doon sa kabilang side. Itapat sa may horizontal at saka doon sa huling point. And then, mga 2 cm din ulit siya. Measure tayo ng 4 or lagyan muna natin kasi ng line para hindi tayo malito. And then yung tick marks na 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Doon sa gitna, yung vertical line natin should be longer. Kasi gagawa tayo ng box. Yung nasa gitna will be 80 instead of 40 mm. Okay, tapat natin sa may horizontal. Pag tumapat na yung tick marks sa horizontal, i-align na natin sa may point and then measure tayo. 170 to, so we should end at 90. Thin line, and then 8 na tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Okay? Meron na tayong diagonal lines. Meron na tayong 3 vertical lines with tick marks. I-close na natin yung box. To close that box, magdadagdag tayo ng diagonal lines to connect the dots. Connect the points. Ahin natin to. Nag-connect na yan. Sa kabila naman, connect natin. Yan. Kung mapapansin niyo, we were able to create a hexagon. Hexagon, piatos. And this is the box that we want to start with. We will be doing connect the points, connect the dots, using yung mga points na tinuldok natin kanina. So, let's start dun sa diagonals. Diagonals ang una nating bubuin based sa mga points na as a check again, kapag hindi nagdugtong yung mga points ninyo, then may something wrong sa mga na-measure ninyo and you have to start again. Connect natin. Connect. By the way, for any line segment, you only need 2 points in order to create it. Kasi yung dalawang yun lang ang guide mo. If you have 3, then all the more so. Dapat hindi ka na magkamali pa doon. Yan. So, thin lines lang dapat yan para madali silang ma-erase. I'm making it a bit darker para mas makita siya sa ating screen. But in your case, as much as possible kasi nipis nitong blue lines dito. The other diagonal naman ang gagawin na natin. If you're working with your own papers at gagamit kayo ng pencil, as much as possible, wag nyong ididiin. Kumbaga, padaanin nyo lang yung pencil. Oh, almost wala. Yung kumbaga kayo lang ang nakakakita na gumawa. Napakagaan. Yan. Kompleto na ba? Kaparehas na ba nito nung nasa screen? Not yet. Meron pa tayong final check and final thing to add. And that would be the vertical lines. Kanina, wala naman tayong points to make those vertical lines. This time, since nag-meet na yung mga diagonal lines, we have the guides na. This is also your check. Kapag yung diagonal line mo and the vertical line do not meet at a single point at nakakreate siya ng, instead of point ang nakreate mo, ang nakreate ay triangle na maliliit, then go back sa simula. Yan no? Points ang kanilang intersection. Points ang intersection. Points ang intersection. Points ang intersection. And points ang intersection. Ayan. And it's complete. Pwede ka na mag-work on this isometric grid. For the next task, our model in exercise number 1 shall be copied into our isometric grid. To do that, we have to make a reference point. Let's say this is our reference point. If we are to copy it, onto our own isometric grid, then it's this point. What can we see from this model? This is our view from the right side. This is our view from the top side. And this is our view from the front side. Okay, so let's attack this model from the right side. If we do that, we will be encountering a square face. So let's just copy it towards our isometric grid. So here we have a 2 by 2 square. 2 by 2 square with our reference point. Na nandito. Okay. Dito pwede nyo nang diinan yung inyong lines in order for us to determine yung kahihinatan niya. Now, these points, refer to these points, ito, itong point na to, dyan, at itong point na to, dito. All of those are connected to a line that goes further in ng two measures. So, ito yun. Papasok siya ng dalawa, papasok siya ng dalawa, papasok siya ng dalawa. So, let's copy that. Itong point na to, papasok pa siya ng dalawang steps. Itong point na to, papasok ulit ng dalawang steps. Then, ito rin, papasok rin siya ng dalawang steps. Yun. Nagkakaroon siya ng itsura. Tama ba? Does it look like that of the model now? Not yet, pero a part of it. Tama? Okay. Titingin ulit tayo ng tatlong points. This point is the same as this one. This point here, the same as this one. And this point here, the same as that one. All three of these points have a common thing wherein tataas sila ng 2 steps. So this point, tataas siya ng 2 steps until ma-reach niya yung second point natin. Itong point na to naman, tataas siya ulit ng dalawa. Ganon din yung third point natin, tataas rin siya ng dalawa. So let's copy that. For our first 2 points, tataas sila ng 2 steps. Ayan. Our third point, tataas din siya ng 2 steps. Yun. Okay? Then, yung face natin dito has a square face again, similar to the first face that we encountered or first side that we encountered. So let's complete that. How do we complete that? Meron na tayong dalawang vertical dito, but we need the diagonals. Dalawang diagonal. Completing the square face, lagay tayo ng diagonal, another diagonal, and note, yung diagonal na yan, it extends. It extends by 2 more papunta dito sa harap. Kaya nag-extend na tayo dito. Again, from this extension, this point here is the same as yung point na nandito. Saan siya patutungo? Meron siyang magiging square na muka galing naman sa front. So, gagawan natin yun ng square na muka. So, dalawang vertical, and then, yung dalawang pahiga niya para makakreate tayo ng square. Yan. May kulang ba tayo? I think there is something missing. May line dito. This line does not yet exist dito sa ating dinadraw sa isometric grid natin. So, let's fill that part. From this point, going to this point, 2 steps. Yan. Ano na lang yung mga kulang natin? From the top view, galing ka sa top view, meron ka makikita na square din. Dito wala pa siya. Hindi pa natin yun makita. So we have to create that. Square doon. This point here refers to this point. This point refers to this point. So, kopyahin lang natin yung nasa kabila. So, meron siyang diagonal. Meron siyang diagonal. At i-close natin yun para makakreate tayo ng square. Mabukat. Ayan na siya. May mga kulang pa tayo. Ilan pa ang kulang natin na lines? So that would be 1, 2, and 3. Ano-ano yung mga 1, 2, and 3 na yan? That would be this one. 1, 2, at saka 3. Saan galing yung mga yun? This point here refers to this point. Eh, wala pa siyang kakonect. So, ito yung kakonect na yan. This point here refers to this point at wala pa siyang kakonect. Ito yun. Doon nawawala. This point exists already. Nandito siya. Pero wala pa siyang kakonect. So, ito naman yun. Kaya, kompletuhin na natin yan. Yun. 1. Connect lang natin to. 2. And then 3. And complete na yung ating figure. Complete na nga ba yan? Yes, that's complete. Pwede nyo nang i-erase yung mga construction lines niyo. All these things. Okay? So, hindi ko muna i-erase para mas makita ninyo yung pagka-count natin mamaya when we go to top, front, right side, and the section view. Alright, so we already have our isometric model copied onto our paper. The next step is to move our isometric to that, or to convert it to our orthogonal views. Our orthogonal views are, we have the top view, we have the front view, we have our right side view. Let's just call it side view. And lastly, we have the section view. Right. So those are the views that we need to see from your plates. Let me remind you again about how to look at the views. First, we have the top view. Titingin ka galing sa taas. That's why it's top view. And then, our attack kanina, we have the right side view. And of course, do not forget the front view. Right? One of the most convenient way to start making the orthogonal views is to start from the top or the front. However, that's just by convenience. Maybe it's just my preference. Some others would take it wherever it's convenient. For the meantime, let's start with the top. Coming from the top, we can see a square. The first thing that you encounter coming from the top, let's say tumalon ka, dito sa object na to, or nag-parachute ka, the first face that you encounter would be this square platform here. So we have to draw that onto our orthogonal view. This corner refers to this point here. Itong corner na to, dito rin siya. This corner refers here. This corner, dito naman siya. So, the square platform viewed from the top is drawn as a square from the top as well. There. This face here is now in your orthogonal plane or orthogonal view. Next, as you go down, kapag pupunta ka sa may paharap na siya, bumaba yung step. But it's still horizontal, flat pa rin siya. So we have another square here. Nung paharap ka, kung pupunta ka naman sa may paside, bababa ka rin. Same number of steps pababa. And same shape. So we have a square papunta sa may right side, and we have a square papunta sa front side. So we just copy that. Notice, however, that this point, itong point na nandito sa taas, at saka yung point na nandito sa baba, when you are looking from the top, they just coincide. Itong vertical line na to, vertical line segment, all the points that comprise it are just seen as one point from the top. Okay? So, gawa tayo ng square dito. Ganun din sa my right side. Another square. And we're done with the top view. Atakihin naman natin siya from the front view. What would be the first face that you encounter coming from the front? The answer would be this face here. Tingin ulit tayo ng what could be the points that we could use. Let's choose the corner point. Once you are at the front part, this point here refers to a point here. But, again, from top view, this point coincides to the same point. Itong nandito. Okay tayo? Itong point na to, itong point na to. Pero itong point na to, at saka itong point na to, itong point na to. Okay, so let's create that square face from the front. Yan. Okay, as we go further in, papasok pa tayo ng onti pa, we are stopped by two faces. Paano natin nasabi na after two steps ay two faces yung na-encounter natin? Kasi, let's use this line as a guide. For instance, papasok ako 1, 2, and then I encounter this face. Again, papasok ako 1, 2, and then I encounter this face. Both of which are square. Yun nga lang, yung isa pataas, yung isa towards the right. So I have two squares. One na pataas. Ayan na yung ating pataas na square face. And one na going to the right. So ito naman, draw naman tayo ng square sa right. Notice that the square face is only at the bottom right. We don't have any face that we can encounter no matter how far we go doon sa top. So, magpo-proceed ka lang dyan, magpo-proceed ka lang dyan, pero nothing is blocking you here. So, we don't put anything on this front view. Okay pa? Side view naman tayo. Let's attack it on how we attack the copying of the model from the right side. Again, we see a square face. This is the square face. Our reference point will be this point. Andito siya sa may corner natin. And then we create that square face. Yan. Parang sa Lego, square face. Yan. Dalawang vertical. Dalawang horizontal para maging square siya. Yan. This is the first face that we encounter from the right side. Once we move in further, papasok tayo pa dito, we will be encountering two faces as well. Two. At saka ito. So, those faces are towards the left of your first face. Meron akong dito sa left at meron sa taas. So, let's just create a square 2 by 2 towards the left. And another towards the top. I'm saying left with respect to this square, pero to be technically correct, towards the front. Okay? Yan. Tapos na tayo with our top view, front view, and the side view. These are our principal view, the three principal views when you are creating your orthographic views or drawings. How about the last one? Have you noticed that when we were drawing the model, meron akong na-miss? I missed one item. This is our plane cutting line. The characteristics of the plane cutting line, meron siyang line segment and then two arrows. Those two arrows denote kung saan ka titingin, where you will look after you have cut that plane. Okay, let me use a red pen to draw that line or that plane cutting line. So it is situated here, somewhere here. Okay, and then it states that you have to look towards the back after you have cut that object. So what happens? What happens when you cut your object? For this one, which among the views will you have a common with the section view? Since yung pagcut is galing from the top, hindi na pwede yung top view. You only have two choices, the front or the side. However, since palikod yung ating views, then the more appropriate principal view that you have to copy would be the front view. Copy lang muna. You have to validate, you have to verify based from the view. Kapag kinat ba natin to, tatapyasin natin dito, ano yung matatanggal? Di ba yung cube lang na to ang matatanggal? Pero makikita pa rin natin itong cube sa taas, cube sa baba, at kung ano man yung nakat doon sa loob. Tama? However, if you are to look forward, kung binaliktad natin yung arrows paharap, of course, hindi mo na makikita tong cube na to, or kung ano man yung nandun sa loob. Ang makikita mo na lang would be this box here. Okay? So let's draw the section view. Right? So let's copy muna yung ating front view. This is our front view. Since kasama naman yan sa mga makikita natin, then we'll just have to draw them all. Ayan. Nakopy ko na yung front view natin into the section view. Ang kulang na lang, as what I have mentioned before in our discussion, whenever you have something that you have cut, then there would be a wound or something that has been left due to the cutting motion. So, yung sugat na yun, tawagin na lang natin siyang sugat would be placed with hatch lines. So, yung hatch lines natin, kailangan natin siyang gawin as much as possible kahit na wala namang measurement, constant yung kanyang distances. So, dapat diagonal line lang siya. Hindi pwede ang horizontal line na hatch lines. Yan. So, as much as possible, keep them consistent in terms of distance. Huwag masyadong malalaki. Huwag masyadong maliliit. Yan. Almost. Okay? And that completes our 4 views. We have 3 principal views, the top view, front, and then the side view, plus the section view due to the cutting plane. And that would be our first exercise.